All right, guys. So for the last one, like I said, 270 degrees counterclockwise. So again, we're starting out with the same values, x comma y. All right. What's going to happen under this rotation is the coordinates are going to change to y comma negative x. All right. So again, if we have the example of 4, 3, okay, what's going to happen is we're going to swap the value so that y value becomes the first, goes to the first place, and we just leave it as the same thing. So that 3 goes right there. And then we make this the x coordinate, all right, we make that negative and put it in the second place, all right, and so it's going to be 3, negative 4. So that's what's going to happen when we rotate that coordinate. So moving on to some examples here. I have the image drawn. So for these, and this is where for your assignment, you do not have to draw the figure. You can use Desmos if you want, but you don't have to, okay? So for this one, I have it plotted. Now, it's going 90 degrees counterclockwise. Our rule, all right, is x comma y to negative y comma x, okay? That is our rule. So um, I'm just going to write that down up here. So it's x comma y to negative y comma x. So if we have our first coordinate of A, it is at 2, 7. All right. It is going to go to, and this is where we take that y value, okay, and we put it in the first position over here, and we make it negative. So that becomes a negative 7. And then the x coordinate moves to the second position over here, and that's just going to be 2. So our coordinate for A prime is going to be negative 7, 2. All right. Now, if we move on to B, B is at 6, comma 5. All right. So what happens to that is it becomes 5 moves to the first position, becomes negative, so that becomes negative 5. And then the 6 moves to the second one, and that becomes 6. So our coordinate is negative 5, 6. All right. Then we have the last one is C. So I'm going to erase some of this. All right. So the last coordinate we have was C. So C was at 4, 1. So what happens is that 1 comes to the first position, it becomes negative, and then 4 comes to the second position. All right, so it becomes negative 1, 4. Okay, so negative 1, 4. Now you don't have to graph it, but if you would like to, you can. So C is at negative 1, 4. So it's going to be right there. All right, C. B is at negative 5, 6. So right there, that's going to be B prime. And then the last one is A prime, which is at negative 7, 2. That is going to be A prime. All right. So that is going to be the coordinates. And if you look, it looks like it got rotated 90 degrees counterclockwise to the left. Okay. So that is going to be the rotation. All right. All right, guys. So we are going to move on to number 4. So try number 2 and 3 on your own, and then check those answers on the notes key on Canvas. Okay. So for number 4, I have it plotted there for you. And so this is where we're rotating 180 degrees. So our rule for 180 degrees goes from x comma y, and then when we rotate 180 degrees, it becomes negative x, negative y. Okay. So starting out with our first coordinate of x. So x is at 3, negative 2. Okay. So when we rotate it, all right, 180 degrees, what's going to happen is we change the value. That 3 becomes a negative 3, and that 2 becomes a negative. What happens is it becomes a negative, negative 2. We're saying negative 1 times 2. If we do a negative times a negative, that's going to be a positive and give us a positive 2. So all we're doing is changing the sign on that one. Okay. So our corner for x is